Baby, it's time for your show.
What time is it?
It's 7 o'clock.
Where's my bong? It's Tuesday, October 10th, and you are listening to Marijuana Radio. I am your host, KB, and tonight we'll be talking to Alan St. Pierre, the president of NORML. We'll also have another KB Cutie in studio to chit-chat about getting high and naked for the camera. It's going to be a great show, so sit back, load your bong, and take a listen to this song from Down Under. It's Peter Cross with THC.
Any substance abuse can cause some dramas. I mean, take pot, for instance. If you're going to bucket bong a kilo of hydro, you may have some problems. But other than that, it's relatively harmless. They tell you pot causes schizophrenia. That's not what the voices in my head have been telling me. Pot causes depression. Bullshit! Pot causes peace and creativity. You know what causes depression? Hurtling around the sun on a planet with a very fragile ecosystem, led by a cowboy who has the biblical right in his pocket and a few thousand nukes on hair trigger alert to back up his argument that he's preparing the way for Jesus. That causes depression. Pot just enables us to deal with it. Let's mull up those mystical buds of THC and pack it down in your bong, and pull it on back and chill on out. Nothing this good could be wrong, and laugh so hard your jawbone aches, and help us to sing our song. Tetrahydrocannabinol, nothing this good could be wrong. Well, a drunk man beats his wife. Tobacco will shorten your life. Prescription addiction is out of control. I want a natural high, so mull up those mystical buds of THC and pack it down in your bong. Pull it on back and chill on out. Nothing this good could be wrong, and laugh so hard your jawbone aches, and help us to sing our song. Tetrahydrocannabinol, nothing is good, nothing is good, no, nothing is good could be wrong. Well, it's been used for thousands of years by mystics and ancient seers. Enlightenment, entitlement, I'll give you the nod. Some people say it'll help you find God. Oh my God. Pot is actually in the Bible. Yes, it was placed there by God herself. The Bible states all the herbs of the land are to be used by man. It shall be as their meat. It doesn't say all the herbs of the land bar one, and that one is to be used as a political weapon to demonise creative people in order to justify a campaign of fear. It doesn't say that. It says all the herbs of the land. All. Where's your infallible word of God now, sunshine? Let's mull up those mystical buds of THC and pack it down in your bong. And pull it on back and chill on out. Nothing this good could be wrong, and laugh so hard your jawbone aches, and help us to sing our song. Cannabis sativa with my senorita. Nothing is good, nothing is good, no, nothing is good. Could be wrong.
Hey, welcome back to Marijuana Radio. Let me introduce the guys in the studio with me. To my right is Joe Z Fiend, as always. Say, hey, Joe.
Hello, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing really good tonight.
Right on. Paul, the producer to my left. Yo. What's shaking, brother? Nothing. Okay. So, how's everybody's week?
Good, I did some house painting.
Yeah.
Cleaned my house today.
Cats will make you do that.
Dude, yeah. I did some cat suplexing too. They made a lot of the mess that was cleaning up, so...
I watched Weeds, the Showtime series Weeds this week. Fucking awesome. Very cool.
Do they still have... Is that still a running program, or are you just watching
currently.
DVDs?
No, I downloaded, don't tell anybody, but I downloaded the series until last night, right before the latest show. I snuck away from the family and watched watched all of them up until the one that was live, and then last night caught up with the series in real time.
Was everybody else privy to the older episodes, and you were just the one catching up, or were you?
No, I'm the only one in my. My children aren't watching Weeds. But it's a really cool show about if you haven't seen it, then I suggest you tune in on Showtimes. I think what's today? It's Monday nights, and it's about a suburban housewife who lost her husband and resorts to selling pot to take care of her family. It's very cool.
Sounds good. I've seen one episode, and it was really cool. She was doing some guy on the top of a car.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that was
that's
tight.
right.
I like that.
Paul, Joe, and I were standing in line at Good Times some night this week. I can't remember, but we were
the 6th.
We were lit
right by his house.
Yeah.
Right, and in line in front of us were these guys. This one guy was going off about the size of his shoes. His shoes were so much bigger than his feet.
Look at my feet, everybody!
Right.
Look how big they are.
I know, he was fucking trashed. And it turns out that they were artists. We saw their press pass. They were in town with the ICP show, and I think they opened up. We ended up.
I believe the names were Chuck, some other guy that called himself Water.
Chucky Chuck, don't give a fuck.
Chucky Chuck, don't give a fuck.
And then
this guy Dirtball the Reptilian.
Dirtball, his latest album is Reptilian, which is
that's right.
Which is a killer album. And
the Raptilian, isn't it Raptilian?
Raptilian, right?
That's
I was thinking about that earlier today. Rap is a good. That's probably what he meant by
good
that.
Play on words, right?
And they're both with Suburban Noise Records, and that was.
We got into some odd conversations, about I don't know if he's going to be stoked that I'm telling everybody this, but he used to be like a Nordic Olympic skier.
That's right.
He used to do Nordic humping.
Nordic humping.
Hunting competitions. He would ski cross country and shoot like
the dude with the big
stuff.
feet.
No. That was the guy that was riding all over my walls.
Dirtball.
The other guy, Dirtball. He's actually a really cool guy. He just kept on. It sounded like talking to old friends of mine because he's from like a lot of the places I used to visit. Like he's from Utah. And he used to spend a lot of time in Montana, and that's where he used to snowboard a lot.
Very cool guy. I really enjoyed that. We'll have to have him on the show sometime because I like his music, and the dude was just cool. He, in a really wild, crazy evening, he was.
I like his new CD. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a review on that for sure.
Hey, let me introduce a section of the show called The Beg.
We're going to beg somebody.
We're going to beg. So, do you remember when? Who was it? Roseanne? No, it was. Who's the lesbian who had a talk show and begged Tom Cruise to come on her show so much?
Rosie O'Donnell?
Rosie O'Donnell,
No.
right. So
It
was Rosie O'Donnell.
It's not the blonde, skinny chick.
No, that's Ellen. That's
oh,
Ellen.
yeah, right. Different lesbo.
That's her. That's the playoff of Rosie O'Donnell.
But we're going to beg someone to come on the show, and until they come on, it's going to be Tenacious D. So
I think we're going to go with Tenacious D.
If you know Tenacious D, if you are related to Tenacious D,
if you've done them and have their phone number,
then have them get a hold of us at marijuanaradio.com.
You have IMDb, the database thing, right?
I don't know. No.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Like the Internet Movie Database?
I am not
I have a
familiar.
membership to that. Like, I have a number probably to his agent or someone related to his agent or something.
Right on. Well, you then. Maybe we should be begging you to
to like try and hook him up.
Right. Tenacious D, we'd like to have him on the show. I'm under the impression that they're potheads.
Jack Black and Kyle Gass, yeah, they talk a lot about weed all the time. The records have ample supply of pot conversation.
Ganja.
Right.
I'd be interested in having them on the show, and I'm going to continue to beg.
Kyle Gass has another group right now that he's touring with, too, so it might be a little easier to get a hold of him. They're called Trainwreck. They're really awesome. It's like a concept group. They're all cowboys, and they dress up with their Fu Manchus and acoustics, and I don't know. It's pretty good. If
Right
we
on.
could get them on there, I'm sure they'd be down too.
Well, Tenacious D, if you're listening, Jack, give us a call, man. Or stop by marijuanaradio.com and send us a note. We'd love to have you on the show.
That's right.
Well, it's an election year, and here in Colorado there's an amendment on the ballot, Amendment 44, which will legalize marijuana for adults
21
over
and
21 up to an ounce. And in Nevada, there's Question 7, which goes as far as to tax and regulate marijuana. So if you're in Colorado or Nevada, make sure that you not only vote, but you drag another registered voter down to vote with you.
Have a group voting party. That would be something, just a reason to get wasted. You know what I mean?
Let's help. Let's legalize marijuana in Colorado and Nevada, at least. And those are the two states that I'm familiar with that have know, real strong initiatives on the ballot.
Do you, which one is closer to having it done? I mean, I haven't actually been following up lately.
Nevada has had several years of trying to get this same initiative passed.
Their iron has been in the fire for a long, long time. Definitely.
But I think probably Colorado has more momentum. Safer, the group, legalized marijuana in Denver, the city.
Right.
And then the next election, which is this election, they've brought it to the a statewide ballot, and I believe that they probably have the momentum.
And that's
going
huge. I mean, even with the whole federal law superseding any state law, that's still pretty big to be the
It's
only...
a good step.
Only city in Colorado, or much less, I don't know. Are there any other cities?
There are cities who made it legal, just like Denver, I believe. But
I think it's like
this amendment, should it pass, will be the first state that has actually legalized. And I can think of few other people who make such a daily difference in the fight to legalize marijuana than the president of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, Alan St. Pierre. And it is a pleasure to welcome Alan to Marijuana Radio.
Thank you.
Alan, are you with us?
Hey, good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's happening?
Oh, just trying to stay sober through the show and try to get through it. So tell me, Alan, how does the son of a pilot from Cape Cod turn out to be the president of NORML?
Well, you work at a big law firm in downtown D.C., and one day you walk by the bulletin board, and right there in front of you is the word marijuana for a pro bono case, which happened to be NORML versus DEA. And you volunteer for the case, and the case turns out to be a 24-year case, one of the longest cases in U.S. history.
Wow.
And that was in 1991.
And how did it turn out?
NORML lost the case, its first and only phase of the case, in the Court of Appeals in the District of Columbia in 1994 in a 2-1 decision, and that set off essentially Prop 215 in the state initiatives, because at that juncture, NORML had tried in the courts, in the state legislatures, in the federal legislature, and so the fourth option for changing the laws are initiatives. And so in the 25 states that allow initiatives, that started that process.
Your tenure with NORML you've kind of brought technology to NORML, meaning the podcast that I'm familiar with, and the internet has kind of become a large part of the NORML cause since you've been on board. Can you tell us a little bit about why that's important and how you were contributed to making that happen?
Well, I've been at NORML long enough to be the pre and post internet, and so just thinking about a couple of different metrics here, from say 1991 through 94, 95, if a busy day could be 100, 150 phone calls and maybe generating 200 or 300 written mailings, and maybe engaging in 10 or 20 faxes. Well, today, 35 or 40,000 people a day come across NORML's webpage. They download almost 2 million pages per night of information. We could never have moved that much information. We could have never bought that much paper or afforded that much postage. So clearly, as communications have changed in our society, so has the mode of businesses and nonprofit organizations and governmental organizations. And NORML has certainly tried to stay up to date with all that, whether it's podcasts, whether it's a dynamic web page, whether it is a complete listing of all of the different information, the modes that anybody would want to know that's involved with using marijuana, or know somebody who does, whether it's all of the state laws, marijuana in health, marijuana in medicine. All that information is now available in a way that, again, when I first came to NORML and you were like, I want to find out about marijuana legalization, quote unquote. Well, how would you have done that in 1992? You go to the library, start festering around looking for information. You might go up to the librarian, which would have gotten an eyebrow raised.
Right.
And you would have gotten a very limited amount of information. You would have made a few photocopies. I mean, today, you can just simply go to, of course, a brand name like Google, type in marijuana legalization, and you'll get thousands of pages of information. So it is just, this is how people are communicating, and it bodes very well for those who want to change marijuana laws.
And you had mentioned podcasting. As a podcaster, I was interested to get to know a little bit more about the NORML podcast. That's a daily podcast, is that right?
It is. It comes out daily, and then we do a weekly news release called NORML News. And so they're two separate entities, but they reach at this point about 12,000 people a day. And it's, again, I mean, the idea of communicating directly for 30 minutes a day with such a large group of people 10 years ago would seem inconceivable.
Crazy.
And you reach about 35,000 people a week, or is it a month?
On the podcast?
Right.
About 10 to 12,000 people a day download it from any number of different sources. So at this point, we're looking at almost 300,000 people per month.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Hey, Alan, I'm the co-host. My name's Joe. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
I just said I've been following you since I've been in about high school, since I've been interested in marijuana. And I just remember one of the things that you did with the in New York with the launch of the NORML campaign, with Mayor Bloomberg saying, I smoked pot and I enjoyed it, or something along those lines. That's just stuck out since I was a child. And I was just wondering, how do you feel as far as New York is concerned, and with all the negative, the negative press on drugs and all that? How do you feel about pot sales in America being linked to terrorism, with everything that's happened in New York?
Well, certainly that ad campaign was a fairly momentous moment. It was the coming together of two important points. One was there had been a dozen or more major political figures in the 80s and 90s, and as a matter of fact, today you cannot run for dog catcher and not have to answer the question, have you ever smoked marijuana?
Right.
And so all kinds of nuanced answers, of course, from Clinton forward are created, and what made Bloomberg's reply so interesting when he was asked running for mayor, when he said, yes, I did, and I enjoyed it, was such a frank answer that it certainly caught our attention. But what was even more disturbing, and why when we do ad campaigns, we try to combine something that's culturally interesting, politically interesting, with something substantive when it comes to trying to change marijuana laws, and that is under Giuliani in New York, there had been this insane rise in arrests from around 3,000 people per year.
That was around 2002, right?
Well, that's when the campaign launched. was actually 2001, and when it came to Giuliani's span, the arrest ran up from about 3,000 to 55,000 arrests per year.
Holy shit.
So we tried to combine the two campaigns and trying to say, hey, Mayor Bloomberg, it's great that you inhaled it and that you enjoyed it, but you have an opportunity as mayor to lower this arrest rate.
Right.
And so thankfully, here we are all these years later, and the numbers now predicted out for this year are around 18,000. So the numbers have come down precipitously, and we're hoping by the time Bloomberg runs his span as mayor, maybe they'll be back down to around 3,000 or 5,000 per year, which would be the 30-year natural average in New York. So yes, that ad campaign was important, and it's terrible to see terrorism at all in any way, shape, or form be linked to marijuana. I guess one of our pithy replies to anything having to do with this is simply, if you want to fight terrorism, grow your own domestically.
Right. Do you think that Mayor Bloomberg attributes a lot of that the decrease in the pot arrests and the drug arrests to the NORML campaign that you launched?
Well, there were two prongs that have made it basically happen from what we understand from his staff, and that is, one is that, and some might remember, a terrible program under Giuliani called Operation Condor.
I remember that. I remember hearing a lot about that.
It was, this literally resulted in the deaths of individuals and just really very aggressive police. And so they stopped that program, which was literally shaking people down outside of
just out of
clubs
control
in New York
for cops, right?
It was really, really harsh. And so, and second is that, this ad campaign, we'd come forward and we knew that Bloomberg was not going to oppose us, because one of the things when we were putting it together is that it turned out that one of his best friends, next door neighbor, and turned out to be a long time NORML supporter. He's not going to come out after you guys because I've been turning this guy on for almost 25 years out in the Hamptons, and that's saying, he knows the right end of a joint to light.
Right.
And so while he might not be happy with what you guys are doing, he's not going to come out and go balls to the walls to you. And that's exactly what happened. He got into the media a lot during those 2 days and just simply said, "Listen, I'm not opposing them, but I'm not going to legalize marijuana."
Right? Yeah. I seem to remember he was saying something like. The drug arrests aren't going to go down at all, or something like that.
Thankfully they've gone from 55,000
but he was
to
wrong,
18,000.
obviously. Yeah, they've gone down dramatically.
But then again, terrorism also would be that other major prong. Is that that's clearly a priority in New York, and so rather than busting people in Washington Square for smoking marijuana, they're now put $2 billion into police work in New York.
They're focused on other things now.
Yeah, thankfully so.
Hey, Alan, NORML doesn't bring initiatives to the ballot, but how does it support those who do? I know that in Colorado here, SAFER has brought Amendment 44 to the ballot, and in Nevada, Question 7 has made it on the ballot as well. You guys don't actually bring that to the ballot, but how do you support those who do?
Sure. Well, because NORML does a ton of media throughout the year, we always talk them up. We always promote them. We use, going back to the discussion around the Internet and mass communications today, NORML has a 56,000-person listserv, so we can blast off information directed towards states and around the country, and we do that for the initiatives, both local and state, around the country. We also raise money for them and then just forward it on to them, whether it's through NORML, the NORML Foundation, or the NORML PAC Political Action Committee. So we try to find as many ways as we can possibly be helpful, and we certainly have been concentrating most notably on Colorado and SAFER's efforts, because they've generally got the best chance of prevailing in our mind, and also just from a legal and political point of view, strategic point of view, they've got a better chance of prevailing, because in Nevada, the legalization effort there is certainly going to be enjoined by the federal government and fought seriously, because the precedent is just clear that would be setting, whereas in what's so great about what SAFER has done in Denver and what they're trying to do now in Colorado is basically replicate what's been going on for 30 years in Alaska, and that is a state and a local government can clearly bring the penalties down to zero. Selling it, having taxation schemes, things like that are definitely going to be areas where the federal government's going to think there's a nexus and get involved. But when it comes to just zero fines or $5 fines like Madison and Ann Arbor had for years and years, it's clear that this can occur. So that's why we're so happy to see SAFER pretty much drawing almost even. It's about 50-50 in Colorado on this topic.
I know, we're excited.
We were behind a little bit. I think we've gained ground, and I'm looking forward to November 7th. NORML's position in a historical sense has been to lobby, which meant to speak to the people who are elected and sway their vote towards our side. But these days, it seems that, at least here in Colorado, and I've been lucky enough to grow up and start smoking in Colorado, so I don't feel the pressure or the full brunt of the law that other states may have. But it seems to me that in Colorado, all we need to do is incite voters to get out and vote, and that's all we need to do. We don't need, the legislative branch will follow the lead of the people. I'm under the impression. What do you think about that? Do you think that there's a pendulum swing going on in the country now, or am I just stoned?
No, you're not stoned yet. But what it is there's a couple of components, and one is that when it comes to the change in public attitudes, a lot of it has to do with the graying of the baby boom generation, and Generation X and Y are such that they pretty much support strongly decrim medical marijuana,
right.
And they're pretty much almost now into the strong plurality, like into the 47 to 50 percentile for legalization. The country on the whole is around 36% in favor of legalization. So
really?
The numbers are definitely creeping up. I mentioned earlier again that 25 of the 50 states allow for direct initiatives. Only about 22 of the 50 states really is worth mentioning. So in a state like Colorado, which is one of those states, it is good to use the initiative process to put pressure on politicians, if not ultimately changing the laws. So right now we're up to 12 states that have gone through some sort of medical marijuana or decrim efforts that have gone through the initiative process. But you're right, over the traditional span of NORML's life, which is from 1970 forward. From 1970 to 1996, most of the efforts are geared towards local, state, and federal lobbying, which now includes things like, raising money through a NORML political action committee, because you really can't get attention at the lobbying level unless you're literally waving dollars in front of the face of politicians.
Which is tragic.
I have to be frank in saying that.
Right.
And so just getting involved and being in their face at their local offices and at their state and federal offices is what NORML's basically been at all these years, and putting together local contingents of politicians
right.
that want to change the laws.
Well, tell me this, Alan. I'm at the forefront of this fight almost on a daily basis, and I'm asked this all the time, and I ask it of most of the people that I speak to. Do you think that marijuana will be legal on a federal level, just like, for instance, let's say it is in Denver right now?
Well, I think realistically, and we're going to get a bill introduced, I believe, very strongly, almost certainly, this January, February, that's going to be a decrim law that would be $100 fine, similar to what pretty much Colorado's had for the last 25 years, and what, frankly, 1/3 of the U.S., 100 million people live in a state or municipality where it's been about $100 fine for 1 ounce and below.
Right.
So we think we can get that introduced this year.
Federally.
Federally.
Right.
Now, introduced and then having to fight it out in some committees and then passing it, I mean, that'll be a completely different beast. But in the end, we've already gone through this battle once before. It's already been a well-vetted issue from 75 to 81. There were 4 series of congressional hearings on marijuana legalization and
right.
decriminalization driven by NORML's efforts, and Keith Stropp pretty much driving the ship at that point.
Right.
And in the end, we're going to be up at that point again. And thankfully now we're going to have so much sociological and criminal justice data to demonstrate that decriminalization works, and at the very least the federal government ought to adopt it. And once the federal government adopts decriminalization, I think that then we'll do what is so logical, and that is we live in a country called the United States, and within our states they have the ability to deviate from the federal policies, except for situations that, take away from people's rights. And that certainly isn't this situation at all. So in the end, we're going to have, based on the mores and values of a state or an area, a San Francisco, a Los Angeles, a Portland, a Denver, maybe a Maine or a Vermont. These places likely would legalize marijuana today if the federal government wasn't playing the big heavy on them. So, but at the same time, hey, is Utah, is Tennessee, are these places in our lifetimes going to legalize marijuana and put a tax stamp on it?
I doubt it.
That might not be the case, but, just to remind folks, there are 400 or 500 dry counties in the United States. So clearly, we are based on and which is fine. That's why we all kind of gravitate to where we choose to live.
Most
is
of them
based on the
being in
mores
Utah.
and values.
Right. My answer to those people when they ask me if I think that legalization will happen on a nationwide basis, I think that it probably, you know what would serve us best is if we legalized 50 square miles in Montana to grow it, sell it, have everything to do with it. That
Preferably
would be
in my family's backyard.
And if you legalize 50 square miles in Montana, it'd be the richest 50 square miles in the country.
Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be a very difficult thing to get marijuana legalized on it to a point where Colorado is close to right now on a national level. And, to be honest with everyone, that's a question that time is the only thing that's going to actually answer that question.
Speaking of that, I mean, Alan, do you think that that in your span of being the director of NORML, do you think that the pendulum's going to swing all the way to the actual reform of the marijuana laws? Do you think that it's going to happen in your lifetime?
In your tenure?
Well, in the reform, as defined by things like medical marijuana and
right.
hemp
Well, no,
laws,
I mean just complete and utter legalization of marijuana.
Well, when one looks at the federal election cycle, for example, right now we're at 535 people in Congress. There's only a handful. It takes literally hundreds of people in Congress and obviously a majority in the Senate and a president who's willing to sign a bill to get these things forward at the federal level. So, if we all watched Scholastic Rock growing up, it's not easy to get a federal law passed. So
I love those songs, by the way. Those are my favorite songs.
It's awesome. A classic example of how difficult these sort of things can be. But so in the end, will marijuana be legalized at the federal level in the next 2 or 3 election cycles, which is spanned out at every couple of years? No, there's no way that there's enough people in Congress. The Hinchy-Rohrbacher amendment this past July, which was just a simple amendment that would have banned the federal government from spending money in states where they have medical marijuana laws. And in trying to enforce federal laws there.
Which we were talking about earlier this week is kind of a litmus test to tell us, right?
Yeah, exactly. So at 160 people voting for it, and you need at least 218 to vote yes, and it would have been, a completely whipped down vote if it got up into the low 200s. It's something that, if we cannot get medical marijuana or at least an aspect of medical marijuana law like that passed, then the frank answer to will we have legalization in the next couple of years? No, not at the federal level. So at the state level, that's why we really pile so much sweat and effort into the local and state efforts. This past election cycle, we've got places in Arkansas, in Michigan, Massachusetts, of course, Nevada, and Colorado. And then there are at least 8 different towns or big cities in California. Many of these cities in California make up the size of some states' populations. But these big coastal towns like Santa Cruz, Santa Barbara,
Berkeley,
Hollywood, if they were to pass the laws which they're trying to pass right now, which would essentially be, zero enforcement for an ounce or under, pretty much. Well, this will certainly bode well. And again, people who want to live in those areas, thankfully, we live in a free country, and people can go there and live there and create essentially cannabis culture.
Right. Good call. Hey, Alan, we know you're going to keep the good fight up. We're going to keep the good fight up on this end. We know that you're sick, and I thank you for coming on our show tonight.
Yes, it was good to meet you, Alan.
Well, thanks. I hope I don't ramble too much.
No.
Under the influence of a legal drug for once.
Don't forget to visit NORML.com, NORML.com. We're going to go into a break with Doint Doint. It's Just a Little Joint by Dan Friedman. Stick around.
Smoke it if you got it.
Marijuana Radio.
That was a pretty good segment.
Just a young, impressionable lad. My mama said, you pay careful heed. Watch out for loose women. Be on the lookout for that evil weed. Now I'm a dutiful son, I always do what I'm told. So I searched and searched until I met a scantily clad beauty. She was something to behold, smoking a funny looking cigarette, and she said, doink doink, it's just a little joint. makes you feel happy, light-headed and buoyant. Hardly has any ill effects at all. It's a whole lot safer than alcohol. Well, I took a little drag and then I took a little more, but nothing much was happening. Till suddenly I noticed I was lying on the floor. I was dizzy and my head was spinning. And there and then I understood, it all became so clear. I was filled with euphoria and bliss, free of anxiety, devoid of fear. I turned to that gal and I said, what the heck is this? And she said, doink, doink, it's just a little joint. Tell to provide you with an alternative viewpoint. It'll open up your third eyeball. It's 10 times safer than alcohol. Doink, doink. When I went off to college, I moved into my dorm. Went to my freshman orientation. The dean of students said, prepare to be transformed. You're about to receive a higher education. That is just exactly what was soon to come to pass. He wasn't merely speaking off the cuff. The very next day, as I was heading off to my very first class, the cute co-ed down the hall said, honey, would you like a puff? And she said, doink, doink, it's just a little joint. From Skidmore to Harvard to West Point. It's gonna be legal soon in Montreal. It's 100 times safer than alcohol. Doink, doink. Doink, doink, doink. So I became enamored of this wondrous herb, in spite of its dubious reputation. Though the legal conundrum has left me somewhat perturbed, it has not diminished my appreciation. You know, there was one time I was just sitting on a bench under its intoxicating spell, when a little gray-haired lady sat down right next to me and asked, young man, what is that peculiar smell? And I said, doink, doink, it's just a little joint. It's good for your glaucoma and arthritis in your joints. It'll lower your blood pressure, and just like Geritol, it's a lot less toxic than alcohol. Doink, doink. Doink, doink, doink. I'm not saying it's totally benign, though I'm a fan of this fantastic greenery. Best not to smoke it all the time. Definitely not when you're driving or operating heavy machinery. But at the end of a long, hard, miserable day, I don't care what law is on the books. Just one little puff can wash all your cares away. How am I gonna turn 100 million God-fearing citizens into crooks? And I said, doink, doink, it's just a little joint. Guaranteed to never disappoint. Herbal remedies, virtues I extol. And a pipe or a bomb, or brownies, a hand roll. Doink, doink, it's just a little joint. Makes you feel happy, light-headed and fun. Hardly has any ill effects at all. No more dangerous than alcohol. Doink, doink, it's just a little joint. Doink, doink, it's just a little joint.
Hey, welcome back to Marijuana Radio. Hey, I want to remind you that for all the music that you hear tonight, you can check out marijuanaradio.com, and we have links to all the musicians that write these good songs about herb. Hey, Joe, are you there?
I am here.
Josephus, hey, why don't you introduce us to our sponsor for the evening, would you?
Well, our sponsor for this evening, KB, is Cash Crop Clothing. They make short sleeve, long sleeve shirts, hoodies in all different styles. You can go to a head shop near you and ask for some clothes from Cash Crop Clothing. If they don't have them, tell them to go order a bunch from cashcropclothing.com.
And be sure to tell them the guys at Marijuana Radio said hey.
Amen.
Let me tell you something. I love weed, okay? I love it. But not as much as I love pussy.
Right on.
And
Amen
Jack
to
Daniels.
that.
And Jack Daniels.
And Jack Daniels. Nothing wrong with Jack Daniels. Or the Durban.
The Durban.
Have you ever smoked the Durban?
The Durban poison.
The Durban is a good blend of ganja. Hey, it's time to introduce our cutie for the evening, which is Kay. Say hello, Kay.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, Kay.
Right on.
Hi,
Thanks.
you. How you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for joining us in studio.
You're welcome. Thanks
Kay,
for having me.
Sure. Kay is a model at kbcuties.com, which is a site that's dear to my heart, that's dedicated to smoking pot and getting naked. I like that, right? And Paul, the producer, is passing around a picture of Kay as we speak, taking a bong rip off of that little bong. Hey, first I'm going to ask you just some normal centerfold questions, like how old are you?
I am 21 years old.
Oh, just legal enough. I can take you out and get you drunk. That's a good thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why don't you give us your measurements, baby girl?
All right. Well, I'm a 32A, itty bitty titty committee. 20.
Hey, me too.
Hi. 24 and 33.
What's your favorite strain of ganja?
You know, I'm really down with the cough.
Yeah?
Fort Collins, word.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I love
Strawberry
cough. And I also love, the purple stuff.
The Kush.
Oh,
Kush
so
is good.
purple that it tastes like purple. You
Hey.
don't even know.
How did you become a KB Cutie?
Oh, well, actually, I was online one day getting stoned, and I found a link to you, and
Right. And was it through Craigslist or?
I don't even remember.
Really? What?
But basically, I signed up, and
She just wanted to get naked.
mostly
She met you at like McDonald's or something trying to get Monopoly points.
go Monopoly.
And what was your shoot like?
Oh, man, it was out of control. Every rip, I'd be smoking a green hit, and I got so out of control stoned that I couldn't even function. I forgot to open my eyes and stuff, and ended up throwing up about 5 times in front
Get
of
out.
in front of the photographer, in front of his assistant, everybody. Yeah, I'm just like, I need a trash can, please.
I've heard people get so stoned that they puke.
I've done that a few times.
Not myself, but you've done it.
It's something about it. You feel great because, you're stoned, and it feels really good to actually, throw up.
Get out. That's fucking sick.
Only when I dip my marijuana in formaldehyde is when I throw up. That's
I don't know about you and your formaldehyde, dude. You got to back up off that. That ain't healthy.
Anyway, what I was going to ask you, Kay. Some of your general interests since I've been talking to you, you've been telling me you like to gamble. You like to get naked, food fights with hot chicks, and drink a lot and get fucked up. But one of the ones that stood out for me was I see that you wrote something about escaping from a felony arrest in handcuffs. Tell me some more about that.
Oh, no. Okay, well, it was one night we were drinking. Oh, shit. Well, anyway, 2 guys got in a fight in my apartment, okay? And the cops come, and I let them in because they were looking for his money, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we get arrested, and while they're searching my apartment, I wiggle the cuffs around in front, and I'm looking around and try to roll down the window. And if all y'all have been arrested before, you know that window is not supposed to roll down.
Yes, ma'am.
In the back of a police car, you mean?
Yeah, but mine did.
I plead the fifth.
Mine, sure enough, did, and my window of opportunity right there is I stuck my head out, look at my buddy in another cruiser. He nods his head, yeah, I pop open the door, run out,
Get
let
the
him
fuck out.
I shit you not.
Oh, my God.
Did you end up actually getting away with it, or did you get caught?
We did get away with it. I turned myself in the next day, however, but
Holy shit.
we were running towards downtown, and we ended up going the wrong way.
So you're hot, you're a pothead, and you're a criminal.
Yes, I am. I still have the handcuffs to this day.
She's
too.
a bad girl, people. She's a bad girl, but
like
she's
those
also
bad
smart.
boys.
Let me give you some more background information on our girl Kay here. She went to school at the University of Northern Colorado and majored in pre-med and a minor in chemistry.
I actually went to the University
So
of
did
Northern
I.
Colorado
Just
for
in Greeley,
I did too.
Colorado. All right, people.
Go
for
Bears.
one semester, and I majored in alcoholism and minored in hangovers.
Right.
Yeah,
and that was it.
At. Yeah, now I'm at the community college of Denver, and I'm actually going into nursing instead. But
You're still minoring in chemistry, though, right?
basically, yeah, I have to take organic, and then I can be in a minor.
Are you going to try to manufacture any synthetic drugs or anything like that? Like,
I'm trying to stay away from those synthetic manufacturing.
All right.
Just
good.
organic?
Just making sure.
Organically grown drugs are your...
Precisely. That's more of my...
So you're a big pot. You're like, would you consider yourself a pothead then?
I totally would. My only thing stopping me now is my probation.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
And it's a big downer. Yeah.
For what?
For the escape.
Oh,
For the escape.
But hold on, we didn't
tragic.
actually get to the bottom of this. You're not going to actually
yeah.
get away this easy. Why was the initial arrest made? Like, why were you getting arrested in the first place?
It's really embarrassing.
Come on, that's what's up.
Come on.
Well, the dude that got his ass kicked in my apartment.
Was your boyfriend?
No, it wasn't. My boyfriend wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
This guy was like, well, since your boyfriend's gone, why don't you take your shirt off and do?
I do
nice.
that line too. I do it all the time.
Right.
Well, that's why he got his ass kicked. And
It was me.
The little punk ass bitch, Josh. Yeah, I'm naming you out.
Josh, no.
Josh.
Fuck Josh.
Josh, you're fucked.
You little
buddy.
punk ass
Decides
bitch.
to drop his little vials of meth in my apartment.
Oh, damn.
I didn't even do that. I don't do that shit.
So because it was your apartment.
Yeah,
and-
I get caught up with it.
Really? So are you fucking on charges for meth now?
Well, I got a deferred sentence and I'm on 2 years probation.
Sweet.
Wow.
Sweet. The deferment, that means that after the 2 years, if you don't get in trouble, you're good to go after that. Like, everything's expunged.
Exactly.
Right?
I can get an attorney to actually
How
close
long has it been?
Since May this year.
Mm.
So, I don't know, but yeah, it
So
actually
you have a
happened
long
in
time to go.
It happened in February of 2005,
Did it
and I
happen-
didn't even know I had a warrant until
Did it
February
happen here?
2006. Yeah, it did.
In Colorado?
Yeah, Arapahoe County.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What happened to you? Anything exciting like this ever happened to you in Fargo?
No.
Is that where you're from, is Fargo?
I'm from Fargo, North Dakota.
You don't have an accent, eh?
Sometimes it comes up.
I
and
could.
try to
I
hide
could
it.
tell. Like, just knowing from your MySpace page that you went to. You used to live in Fargo.
We
But,
should pimp out your MySpace page, though. We should totally, give props to that. It's myspace.com/
Stun Bun.
STUNNBUNN.
And I know that there aren't as hot of pictures on there as there are at KB Cuties, but you can send her a message and say, man, I love your ass. Or
It is a sweet, sweet backside. It's like
thank you very much.
that
two
is a
hams
sweet
and a
backside.
blanket. It's
I don't
good.
work on that.
Hey, there's a rumor running around that you and Ryan, the cutie that we had on last week, might do a girl shoot for KB Cuties. Is that true?
That's what we're trying to talk about. She's a really cool girl.
Yeah?
I forgot to give her a call yesterday, but yeah, something's definitely going to go down with her, I think.
Right
I kind
on.
of think she's hot.
Down on
I have a
her.
little bit of a crush. I'm not going
Something's
to lie.
gonna go down.
Me or her, or both. I don't know.
Sweet. Anyway, has this always been your goal to be to model for adult websites, or did you focus on becoming a doctor when you were a kid, or was this a big deal for you, being able to fulfill your naked desires on camera?
Oh, I like to be naked in front of a camera. I think the camera really brings out my wild side.
You seem to like to be naked even without a camera.
Oh, I
around.
love to be naked.
There's just
You're
microphones here. You'd be down to get naked right now, wouldn't you?
I would. I wouldn't heartbeat.
You should show Josie
How many
Fisher.
guys are around here? Around me right now?
Oh, breasts.
You have to
oh,
stand up
man.
because I'm in the booth.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
oh, stand
That
up.
was real.
Nice.
Good grief.
Oh, you're holding the armor too, aren't you?
Oh, you know it.
You and Ryan could be clanking together.
Nice
That's not
breasts.
all
That's
of them.
right.
You guys.
Be
Jesus.
careful.
Yeah,
you
dude,
girls,
actually.
right.
That's
Mike
not very
and-
often that every day. Like today, I could give you a brief
I
update
had
of what
movement.
I did today.
I had movement.
I
can go
ate
to the
cereal.
bathroom.
I wrote on the computer. Came to the radio show. Oh, I got to see some tits. All right, sweet.
Nice.
If you ask again nicely, I'll let you see him again.
Hey, and if you're listening,
I'll ask
don't
very
forget
nice.
to stop by kbcuties.com where you can see Kay. She's definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say is that you've kind of become the poster child
Oh,
for KB Cuties. The
Your ad
picture
is everywhere.
The picture of you in a blue skirt with stockings, loading
Oh,
a
yeah.
bowl has created wood and more.
I love to hear it.
I'm trying to think of some wood reference, but there's so much wood out there because of that picture. You can find it at KB Cuties. I know that.
I love to hear of
The-
men jacking off to my pictures.
In Italy, we say our teats are bellissime.
Bellissime.
And it's in thousands of MySpace profiles as
Awesome.
a
Keep 'em
friend.
coming.
It's on the back page of the KB Chronicle, which is a monthly tabloid newspaper about marijuana in Colorado, which you can find at kbchronicle.com. And
go out and get it.
It's all over the place at KB Cuties.
I just want to say, if it's all right with you guys, do that again.
Right.
Stand up and bounce, bounce around it.
For those of you who are listening, we're going to take pictures in the studio.
And you can check them out on marijuanaradio.com.
You can check them out at marijuanaradio.com. Right now, we're going to go into a break, and you're going to be listening to Me, the song titled by Muck Sticky.
Yeah.
Hold on, I just...
Well, come on everybody, let's go get high. Muck Sticky, so glad you're along for the ride. I wanna take you to a land where nothing matters at all. Just fire up a blunt, you'll feel 10 feet tall. We can smoke out of a bong, we can smoke out of a pipe. Bump some Cypress Hill, Bob Marley, alright. Damn, it feels good to be a pothead. Had the munchies, went to my mama's house, and I got fed. Full as a tick, called up my girl. She's in love with Sticky, so she rocks my world. Then I go to work, fuck the bullshit. If it's music or loving, adios, bitch. Puffin' off the mo, be an optimist. Think about it too long, I'll scratch you off my list. That's just more for me, and it sucks for you. I've had bigger, better hunks of corn in my poo. You're just a little turd, I'm the big shit. Steady busting rhymes, and I won't quit. I'm going to the top of the industry. Drop what you're doing and come and get high with me. Come and get high with me. Come and get high with me. I'll show you what you wanna see. I'll give you what you really need. Come and get high with me. Come and get high with me. I'll show you what you wanna see. I'll give you what you really need. Am I being rude? Do I make you sick? I don't apologize, suck my tallywhacker chick. I'm just getting high, and I thank the Lord that He gives me something to do when I'm bored. And if you're mad at me, it's okay, I understand. But for all my fans, let me see your fucking hands. I'm not a heavy metal singer or a gangster rapper. I'm just a weed smoker singing songs on the crapper. I'm like an oak tree, my roots are deep as hell. I like every kind of music, I was raised well. My mama taught me right, she told me not to hide. No matter what, stand up for who you are inside. So I'm here today, saying what I please, having lots of fun, blowing ganja smoke in the breeze. And you work so hard to try and censor me. Here's a solution, play your fucking Kenny G CD. Leave me the fuck alone, quit your whiny bitching. If you don't like my music, don't fucking listen. But for those of you who like to hit the trees, bump this motherfucker and come and get high with me. Come and get high with me. Come and get high with me. I'll show you what you wanna see. I'll give you what you really need. Come and get high with me. Come and get high with me. I'll show you what you wanna see. I'll give you what you really need.
And we're back.
We are.
We're back. Hey, this is the part of the show where we would usually just extra into nothing.
I feel like I need to share this with you guys.
You know the truth, right? So, Paul, lay it on us. What's up?
Read it. Read what's in there.
KB,
dude.
I know the truth.
Jay-Z feed.
Joe told me that your mom hates flowers.
I didn't say J. Oh, yeah, okay.
Jay-Z-F.
So I've just been handed a note from Paul, the producer. It says, Joe told me that your mom hates flowers and that you eat dinner off of your underwear while dressed in a fur coat made of lion whiskers. Rawr.
Well,
the fuck does that mean, my man?
Paul told me that your mom hung out with the Pope at the moment right when you were conceived, so that makes you some kind of Pope Junior.
Or Jesus, I'm thinking.
Pope Joe. Yep, sweet.
That's all I needed to tell you guys.
That's it. Oh, thanks, man.
We got to stay
certainly appreciate that.
Straight and honest with one another.
Heck,
Well, it wouldn't be a good show if we weren't honest
I
with each
remember
other.
that day, actually. I remember when I went to the party with my dad and I left with my mom.
Boom. Hey, we want to...
man.
Thanks for tuning into the show tonight. We want to thank Alan St. Pierre from
Definitely.
NORML for talking to us. Make sure that you visit NORML.com. That's NORML.com to help with the fight to legalize.
National Organization for Reform Marijuana Law.
We also want to thank Kay for getting sexy with us. And
very sexy.
Make sure to tune into marijuanaradio.com to see
The
sexy
pictures.
pictures that we will most definitely post as soon as we're done here. The music you heard tonight was THC by Peter Gross, Doink Doink, It's Just a Little Joint by Dean Friedman, and Me by Muck Sticky. And as always, you can find the music and more that you've heard on the show tonight by visiting marijuanaradio.com. Last but not least, we want to thank Barefoot Radio, barefootradio.com.
Paul, I'm going to keep this forever, by the way. This is going to be something that's going into the shoebox.
Auction it.
Barefootradio.com is live on Thursdays and Sundays, and you can listen by tuning into barefootradio.com. Without them, we wouldn't be on the air, so...
Thank you, Paul.
We love Barefoot Radio. We'll see you next week. We're out. Peace.
Take it easy. There's something new, stand up and take action.